One of the biggest pain points that organizations have when moving between cybersecurity vendors is migration. I've spoken to several potential customers and cybersecurity professionals like you in large, medium, and small organizations. And one thing they all say, and it's common, is the burden of migration, especially migrating those policies that they have authored and that went through the several vetting process and approvals in their organization before having it deployed in the production environment. If this resonates with you, then stick with me. I am Priyanka Neelakrishnan, Product Line Manager here at Palo Alto Networks. Today, in this presentation, I'm going to talk about why enterprises need a data loss prevention migrator and what are some of the key challenges that organizations face when they are trying to migrate their DLP solution. And what is our unique approach in addressing those challenges? And not only that, I'll introduce you to our Palo Alto Networks Data Loss Prevention Migrator, which is now live. Yes, the wait is over. The solution is now out there for you to try and seamlessly migrate. Why do enterprises need a data loss prevention migrator? When talking to enterprises, we have noticed that they are faced with 4 key challenges when it comes to data security. Number 1, fragmented security infrastructure. Many organizations struggle with managing multiple security solutions from different vendors, leading to complexity, interoperability issues, and gaps in protection. Number 2 is inflexibility. Legacy DLP solutions may lack the flexibility to adapt to frequently changing business needs and evolving regulatory requirements. This leads to gaps in protection and compliance risks. Number 3 is increased operational costs. Maintaining disparate security solutions from different vendors often requires additional resources such as specialized personnel, training, and licensing fees, leading to higher operational costs and reduced efficiency. Number 4 is lack of innovation. Sticking with legacy vendors who may lack the advanced features, rapid innovation, and capabilities that are required to effectively detect and mitigate modern-day threats. This leaves organizations vulnerable to evolving risks. That too in this era of rapid artificial intelligence adoption. All in all, enterprises are looking for consolidation and innovation at the same time. And this is where platformization comes into the picture. Having a migrator will enable organizations to easily move between security vendors, making them vendor agnostic. Now, let's look at the current state of the problem. What are these enterprises going through when they are working on a DLP migration project? We wanted to really understand the security professional's mindset who is dealing with this project. Yes, we have heard them say it's manual, tedious, and complex, but we wanted to really get to the root of the problem. And we identified that there are 5 key areas that they are focusing on when it comes to DLP migration project. Number 1 is data mapping. Without proper data mapping, organizations may struggle to ensure that all sensitive information is adequately protected during and after the migration process. Number 2 is policy harmonization. Aligning DLP policies from different vendors or versions can be complex, especially if the policies are based on different rule sets or terminologies. For example, one vendor may call it as data identifier, while the same thing can be called as data pattern or profile in another vendor's world, and someone else can call it as SIDS. So ensuring consistency and effectiveness across migrated policies requires careful review and adjustment to maintain security standards. Data loss risks. During migration, there is a risk of data loss or exposure if the policies are not correctly configured, or if there are gaps in coverage between legacy and new DLP solution. Organizations carefully plan and execute the migration process to minimize these risks and maintain data integrity. Number 4 is integration challenges. Once again, integrating the newly deployed DLP solution with their business tools like SOAR, ServiceNow, and their existing security infrastructure, such as security information and event management systems, endpoint security tools, these can pose technical challenges. Ensuring seamless communication and coordination between different security components is essential for effective threat detection and response. Number 5 is user education and awareness. Migrating to new DLP solution may require changes in user behavior or workflow, such as new data handling procedures or policy enforcement measures. Providing adequate training and communication to employees about these changes is crucial to ensure compliance and minimize security risks. Addressing these challenges requires thorough planning, collaboration between IT and security teams, and a comprehensive understanding of the organization's data landscape and security requirements. So now, let's talk about our approach towards addressing those migration challenges. We don't want the cybersecurity admins to bang their head against the wall going through this migration project for months. We wanted to make their lives easier. So I was thinking a lot about it, and there were 3 criteria that I thought we should not compromise while we are developing this solution. 1, it has to be simple, has to be intuitive, and effective at the same time. So in every small and big decisions that were taken as part of this project from conception to delivery, there were 3 criteria which were not compromised. These are the simple, intuitive, and effective. So with that in mind, we now have Palo Alto Networks Data Loss Prevention Migrator up and running in our Strata Cloud Manager. So it's now available today for you to try. This is a 3-step migrator, wherein the first step is about you inputting the policy into the solution. And once the policy is got into the system automatically analyzes the policy and maps it to the terms and terminologies that Palo Alto understands and provides you with that analysis report. And all the admin had to do is look at the report and hit migrate. So once they hit migrate, the migration happens in the backend, and eventually you will be taken to the data security policy page wherein the policies are up and running. So this is a 3-step migration that we have developed. Now let's talk about what are the components of this migration. So when we are talking about inputting a policy into the system, so what is a policy, right? A DLP policy construct has 3 pieces of information: the target, the content detection rules, and response actions. The target is a channel to which the policy is being applied, like which coverage area you want this policy to be applied to. And 2 is the content detection rules. These are like technology by which the content is detected, like keywords and regex. Third one is the response actions. These are the actions that need to be taken after a violation is detected. For example, sending email notifications, quarantining the sensitive data asset. So these are some of the response actions. The DLP migrator from Palo Alto Networks handles policy construct to migrate your policy into the PAN-W system seamlessly. Admin can intervene when required to make modifications to the policy or view the report of the migration at any stage. The migration reports are available both in the PDF and CSV formats for your convenience, because we understand that there could be some pre-processing requirements that you may have to go through for this policy to be deployed. You may be thinking, how is it done? Let's dive in. So the DLP Migrator is part of our Strata Cloud Manager. So Strata Cloud Manager is the unified cloud platform wherein multiple solutions in our Palo Alto networks reside together, which is SD-WAN, AIOps, data loss prevention, IoT, and SaaS security. This DLP Migrator is part of our SaaS security. It's under the settings in SaaS security. That's the starting point to start this migrator. So once you start the migrator, by hitting on it, you would be taken to this page. Here, you are welcome because you are the admin. You should have had certain access permissions to even get to that DLP migrator in the first step. So once you are getting into this page, you are given information around what is getting supported. For now, we are supporting CASP SecureLet policy migration from Semantic DLP. CASP SecureLets are nothing but in Palo Alto terms, it is data security, which is SaaS security API previously called as, right? So there we are supporting three policy types. One is keywords, regex, and data identifiers, both out of the box and custom data identifiers from the semantic world are getting supported in this DLP migrator. We are not only supporting the transition or migration of policies, but also the response actions and detection rules that's part of the policy is also getting migrated. So once you give the migration name and you can start to export and import the XML policies from Semantic into Palo Alto system. Once the policies are uploaded, you can hit import. Then once import is hit in the backend, the Palo Alto system runs its analysis and provides you with this list. It says what are the policies that you try to migrate and whether it is compatible to the new system that you're trying to migrate it to. Is it compatible, incompatible, or partially compatible? If it's partially or incompatible, then we provide the reason behind why is it incompatible. Right? Let's say you want to migrate those compatible policies. Now you can directly hit on those compatible policies. The target channel for now is data security channel. And once you hit migrate, the migration begins. And you are taken to this page wherein it says the migration is complete. And you have three options here. You can either go to the policies page of data security to look at the policies that got migrated into the data into our PanW system. You can also look at the migration history or export the PDF of this migration. Once the policy gets to our data security system, it is under data asset policies. So basically, this is to protect the data that is sitting inside the cloud application, right? That is the data security SKU primarily about. So you have the ability to look at the content, who is accessing it, and the ability to add policies to control the data. For example, if a sensitive data is getting uploaded, now you can make sure that is quarantined to a different location and not getting leaked by sitting in that folder, which is accessible to multiple people, right? These are some of some of the controls that you have once you get the visibility into. Not only that, our solution is backed by DLP as well as malware protection by our industry-leading Wildfire, which is backing our solution. So once the policy goes into the system, and let's say there is a violation that got detected and incident gets generated. Now you have the option to get those incidents in our XOR solution. So let's say you have a XOR system that is already running in your organization, and you wanted to see these incidents that are getting generated in data security on the XOR side. Yes, we do have the option. So if you remember, let me quickly bring our XOR solution integration that we released in Jan 2022. So this is the direct XOR integration. So basically what happens is, so once the policy is violated, so you're connecting to the cloud and the user is taking certain actions and the policy gets violated. Now, if the policy is violated, incidents are getting generated and are in the data asset incidents page, right? In the SaaS security. So now once the incidents are in SaaS security, they are automatically tied to our XOR solution, which is our Demesto acquisition that Palo Alto did a while back. And with our direct API integration between our SaaS security system and XOR system, these incidents are getting transferred to our XOR solution. So on the XOR side, you can look at these incidents. At the same time, you can also send the email to the end users, manager, and also to the end user so that it could act as a coaching for the end user not to repeat a similar kind of violation next time. And for the manager, they do have the option to take a response action, manager or the admin, right? They can take a response action. For example, they can quarantine the asset and available for. So even these response actions can be taken by the admin once they receive those emails. So once the response action is taken either on the email or on the XOR system itself, then that response action is communicated back to our SaaS security system for it to be reflected. So that is a mirroring that's happening between these two solutions to keep them in sync, right? So now that we have seen about the quick gist of our data security architecture and how does the integrations work, now let's quickly delve into our detailed demonstration of our DLP migrator. Okay, so it's the demo time. Let's go into this demonstration. Okay, so if you see, this is the Strata Cloud Manager and you are in SaaS security. In SaaS security, you need to get to this settings. Under settings, there is this workflow section. In workflow, there is this DLP migrator. You have this tooltip that states that today DLP migrator is supported for migrating CASP secure-led policies from Symantec into our PAN-W system. So once you hit on the migrator, you're taken to this page wherein the admin is welcomed and we provide information to the admin so that they don't upload unnecessary policies. So the type of policies that we support today are keyword policies, regex policies, and data identifier policies from Symantec SecureLet. So data identifiers, both custom and out-of-the-box data identifiers are supported. So here, Symantec, there is an option to export the policies in the XML format. So once you export that, you can import those policies into our system, can give a name to the migrator, and start browsing the files for exporting them in. So this XML uploader has got some intelligence built in it. By intelligence, I mean it rejects the files which are not XML, and it also rejects the files that are not a Symantec policy, right? So let's say you are trying to import a Symantec, like a complex policy from Symantec into the system. Complex policy, I mean a policy which has got regex, keyword, and data identifier all built in together, both in rules and as well as in the exception, right? Okay. Now there are these complex policies that got uploaded into the system. You can look at the migration history if you have done the migration before. Otherwise, you can directly go ahead and import them. So once you hit import, the system is analyzing the policy in the backend and trying to map it to our PAN-W understandable formats and provide you with this result. So in this page, we see there are 4 compatible policies, 1 partially compatible and 1 incompatible policy. And the target channel is data security channel, which is CASP SecureLet in the Symantec terms. So if you want, the admin has the option to download this report in the PDF or the CSV format. So here, the beauty is that you have the notes, right? So you can choose to hit those policies that you want to review and go into this review mode. So while you're reviewing, you will get the information around what is this policy, what are the rules that are available as part of this policy, and are they compatible? For example, here, if you see under this, there is regex rule. You can also see that we have response rules part of it, even the response rules. So there are multiple response rules attached to a policy on the Symantec side. Here we are only migrating the response rules that are supported on the PAN-W side. For example, quarantine is a response rule that we support, and send email notification is also something we support. So here the quarantine response rule is also migrated into our PAN-W system. So you hear before, this step is before the migration. So you can still get a PDF and a CSV export of all this content, like what are all the rules, what is the source content, what is the destination look like. And now you can ignore the partially compatible and incompatible policies. Let's say you want to make this partially compatible policy to compatible. So what you can do is you can go and review the policy, and let's say this specific rule is not critical. You wanted the rest of the rules to be imported. Then you can delete that specific rule and make it compatible. So there are 5 compatible policies and 0 partially compatible policies if you see here in the system. Now these policies are ready for migration. You can hit on migrate to PanW. Only compatible policies will be migrated. Keep in mind, partially compatible and incompatible policies are not migrated until the admin comes and makes it compatible by making necessary modifications. So policy compatible for migration, 5 of 5 policies are compatible for migration. And after the migration, these are going to be in the disabled state for now. So during now, you can hit on migration to go ahead with the migration, right? So if you hit migrate, these policies are getting migrated. So on the fly, data patterns and data profiles are being created, like custom regexes are being created in our PanW system that is getting attached to that specific policy. So the migration is complete. You are given the migration report that you have successfully migrated 5 of 6 policies, and 1 policy is not migrated, as you have seen, that was incompatible. And the channel that we are supporting now here is data security channel. You have 3 options. One, you can look at the PDF export. You can look at the migration history, or you can directly hit on and go into this policies to look at the policies on the data security channel. Okay, let's go into the policy. So if you get into the policy, you will be taken to data security policies, data asset policy section. Because it is data asset policies, so these are the policies that got migrated. It's got UUID attached to it. And it's created by the DLP Migrator. For now, the sanctioned applications is empty. In the next release that we are planning to release for this migrator, we will have that also populated, covering all the applications that we are supporting from data security perspective. So the beauty of this solution, I think we need to point this out, is the description. So if you see on semantic side, there is a policy, there are multiple rules that's inside the policy. And these policies can be attached to a policy group, could be a default policy group or a custom policy group. So now as we are trying to migrate policy from that XML, we grab the information like policy group, group name, all these descriptions that you had on the semantic policy into our description area so that you're not losing the context and you're getting that entire trait. And it's in the disabled state for now. As I earlier mentioned, for now, you have to go and select that cloud application. But going forward, you don't have to take this step in the next release that we are planning to release in an iterative cloud release manner. We will have this any cloud app automatically selected for you, which is the target for all data security applications. And the quarantine is also selected. Now, if you see the policy name, exposure, it's enabled, sanctioned applications, all cloud application is selected. And it's created by DLP Migrator. The action once the policy is violated is supposed to be to quarantine it. Now let's see how the migration history looks like. So if we go into this migration history, here you can say the migration, see the migration name, who migrated it, what is the summary, how many policies got migrated. You can still export it in the form, in the CSV or PDF format as well. All right. I hope you enjoy looking at a detailed demonstration of our data loss prevention migrator solution. And we wish you have a seamless migration journey into our data security solution. Thank you.